When was the last time you hit a roadblock? What were you feeling when it happened? What were you thinking? What were you telling yourself in the middle of that situation? Whew, I hit a roadblock. It was early in the morning, about 5 o'clock in June, and I stepped out of a van and onto a cobblestone street. And I was in Reykjavik, Iceland, and I was lost. That was a roadblock. Hey, welcome. You're at Lost in Wonder. I'm Leslie, and here we discover that getting lost doesn't mean you won't find maybe a better path or maybe a new direction. I've been lost all over the world. I've been lost in relationships, lost in strange situations, and I'll tell you, there are a few things you can learn from getting lost that you can only learn when you get lost. So let's chat about it a bit. Well, that day in Reykjavik was not only strange and scary and frustrating, it was exasperating because I was exhausted. I had just landed from a flight from Washington, D.C., but before that, I had spent years in planning this very moment. I had looked ahead. I had taken time to figure out my next steps after I began a big adventure and a big life change. So I was pretty confident when I arrived in Reykjavik that I would be just moving right ahead, moving along, finding things with no problem. I was going to have smooth sailing. But I wasn't expecting to get lost as soon as I stepped out of the little shuttle van. The guy who dropped me off couldn't get me any closer and kind of said about it's that direction, and that was it. My phone wasn't working. I didn't have documents to tell me anything else. And that was a roadblock. So, first thing you can do when you hit a roadblock, acknowledge it's a roadblock. Yes, that might sound obvious, but sometimes we hem and haw and we don't really want to deal with how bad it is or even just how uncomfortable it is. I would say acknowledge. This is not what I planned. Acknowledge. I am angry. Acknowledge whatever that is true about your situation, just so you're facing reality. Well, when I acknowledged that there I was, I paused, I took a breath, I prayed for wisdom because God's direction had been with me all through this process, all through this transition into life overseas. And so I stood there for a minute, and my thought was, I didn't sign up for this. I really did. I kind of prayed it, thought it, and that fast in my head came, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You signed up for this. You wanted to go travel around the world. You wanted an adventure. Do you think that there's no trouble? There's no challenge when you start, when you begin, when you live an adventure, when you live life? Leslie, this is what you signed up for. Whoa. Okay. That was a little smack of reality. I acknowledged it. And then I kind of smiled because it was true. I had signed up for this. I wanted this. I just didn't have my brain and emotions caught up to that fact. So they'd get there, just not yet. So after I assessed the situation, looked around, after I acknowledged that I was stuck, then that's the next one. I assessed the situation. What did I have? What could I go with? What could I use? How resourceful could I be? So I'm assessing, I'm taking inventory. Oh, I do remember. Well, the guy dropped me off and pointed me in this direction and said, it's that way. So good. I'll start moving that way. And Helga, my Airbnb hostess, told me, I am across from the best bakery. Maybe she sounded like that, maybe not. And so, okay, I know two things. It's this direction and it's by a bakery. Oh, and it's number 10 Berkestrakke something street. So look me. I assess the situation. I've got some resources. Now what do I do next? I acknowledged it. I assessed it. Now it's time to approach it. Let's go. Let's walk into this situation. Again, not that I have it all figured out, but I have enough to get me started. So that's what I did. Down the road I went, and as I got closer to where I thought I might turn, I spotted a pretzel sign up in the air on a building right over there. And I was so excited. Oh, she said a bakery. That looks like a bakery. Maybe it. And then I looked over here and I saw a number 10 right on the concrete wall. A number 10 over here, a pretzel over there. Look at me. I think I've almost got it figured out. So thump, 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 thump. That's my roller bag over the cobblestones. Thump, 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 thump. I went into the bakery and stood there realizing I have planned for this. I have dreamed about this. I have worked for this moment, and I'm going to have troubles. But I'm also going to have great, wonderful opportunities to take those troubles, to take those roadblocks that are trying to mess things up or trying to mess with my mind and my perception of things, and flip it over to be a building block that builds my courage, builds my confidence, builds my curiosity to what else could I do? Because we're made to struggle. I know. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. You know, the Bible talks about that? Yep. It doesn't tell us, maybe some people think everything's roses and fun. And no, the Bible tells you in this world you will have trouble. Yikes. It also says, consider it all joy when you encounter various trials or roadblocks. Those are some crazy things, except that it also continues. So we're told in this world you'll have trouble, but Jesus overcame the world. Woo, that's pretty amazing. And consider it all joy when you encounter various trials, okay? Because they're testing you and they're going to make you stronger. There's going to be good things coming out of the testing. Whew. Well, with those things in mind, when you encounter challenges, you get to decide, have I met a friend or have I met a foe? Is this roadblock going to be something I hold on to and turn into something that builds my confidence, creates my story, makes more memories, helps me see the faithfulness of God, helps me see that I am resourceful? Am I going to turn it into that? Or am I going to cower, not face it, maybe shrink back, maybe try to go another way? And practice that habit so the next time it's even easier to shrink back. We get to choose. We get to take action, or we get to take the non-action action. Well, around here, I want to encourage you to take the action even a little bit, because your brain is waiting to see you respond even a little bit. That's how we're designed. We are wonderfully made to persevere, to push through things that are hard, and to grow because of it. I tell you, I love that idea. I don't love the process, but you know what? The outcome is worth it. So ladies, I want to encourage you, get lost in wonder, not in fear. Don't get lost in panic. Don't get lost in despair. I want to encourage you to get lost in wonder at the possibilities that are out there. If you just take the smallest bit of an effort, of a step, and see what happens. I'd love to hear about a roadblock in your life. Write about it down in the comments. Tell me about a roadblock. Tell me about an overcoming that maybe it turned into a building block of your life. Let me know. If you want to know more about me, about getting lost around the world and discovering some really amazing things, I have a book right over here, and I'll put a link below. Lost in Wonder. I'm so glad you stopped by, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.